Yo, Sigmas. Welcome to another Sigma Spirit video. This is Alex, aka the Sigma Spirit. And right now in the world, everything is going very crazily and things are very strange. But that doesn't take away from the Sigma Spirit journey and the struggle that we all have to go through. And I was thinking recently about love, and it's a huge part of everyone's lives, but especially it's a complicated matter for Sigma males. So today I'm going to give you 12 things that are going to be difficult if you're a Sigma male, if you're a man of high Sigma spirit. And I want to share these 12 concepts, these 12 obstacles, these 12 things that you might be doing that are wrong, or you're not doing them well enough, and they're causing some chaos in your Sigma male love life. And before we begin, I want you to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel, because there's going to be a lot of Sigma Spirit content, and I feel like we're just getting started on this Sigma male journey, and I think the future belongs to the Sigma male. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. And then I'm going to spill the beans on what it means to be a Sigma male in love, dating, relationships, sex, all that kind of stuff. And I've got my notes here. I've got 11 reasons why it's difficult for Sigma males to find fulfillment in love and relationships and dating. So the problems you're going to face as a Sigma male are many, and love is no exception. And I made this video because I want people to feel like they have a guide for finding love and relationships and fulfillment in that area of your life as a Sigma male. And all of these problems that I'm going to talk about are problems that I've faced personally, and I have my own experience with them, and it's been difficult, but I think that's given me a lot of guidance and perspective enough to teach this kind of stuff to you. So without any more jibber jabbering, I'm going to get into the problems that you might face. Number one, I call this small town blues. So Sigma males, very interesting characters. But unfortunately, there are cities and towns and suburbs all across the world where men of interesting character are not really appreciated. And a lot of the times they're going to be ostracized. And I was born in California. I moved to New Jersey. And I ended up in Delaware for my teenage years, from age 12 to into my 20s. And I lived in a small town, very rural. And it was a farming town. And Delaware may seem like a northern state for many of you, but it is in fact very conservative in many ways. And because of this, I always felt very different from people. Now, Sigma males might not be liberal, they might not be conservative, they might not even think about politics, but there's a certain nuance to Sigma spirits, and there's a certain different quality about them. And I think that if you're in a small town, you're going to start judging yourself by people that are very much in the system. They're very much thinking inside the box. I personally believe that a lot of outside the box thinking happens within cities. And if you go to these places where they have kind of old school values, it might be difficult for you to feel like you understand yourself, or if you have any value at all. And this is specifically a lot worse when you think about women and dating and relationships. If you're a Sigma male and you're very different and you're outside the box, it's very difficult for you in small towns. So the second problem area, you don't have any self-love and you don't have any self-confidence or vulnerability. Therefore, you're not going to have any outward love, and you're not going to feel any outward vulnerability. And that's going to manifest itself as self-sabotage. So for everyone, it's very difficult to be in a relationship if you don't love yourself and if you don't feel confidence in yourself. You're going to sabotage a relationship. Every Sigma male on his journey will face this desert of feeling like they're useless, worthless, have no value, etc. And it's horrible if you're trying to be in a relationship, if you're trying to find love, you're trying to date. It's one of the worst, it's one of the hardest things to do, is to find a partner, find a girlfriend, whatever your inclinations are, whatever your preference is for how you date. It's going to be hard if you don't have that self-love. And I think that self-love comes from part number 3. You haven't been able to see your strength as strengths. And one of the reasons why I started this channel was because I want to help Sigma males see that their traits are very special. They're very much strengths, even though they might think they're weaknesses. So number 3, you just haven't been able to understand yourself as a valuable person because you don't understand your strengths. And this has been my experience as well. It's taken me a long time to get to this place where I feel like, hey, I'm a Sigma male, and this is exactly what the world needs. This is what women want. This is what friends are actually looking for, and this is what people want to interact with on a daily basis. So without that journey of discovering that those are strengths, it's really hard to find love. And that's internal love as well as external love. Relationships, dating, girlfriend, wife, whatever you're interested in. Number 4. Now this is common for everyone. You don't know what you want in love. You don't know what you're looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for in love, if you feel this flimsy, wishy-washy, I don't know what I want, just kind of going through the motions, you're never going to find fulfillment. And for Sigma males, we have our own complications and we have our own complexities. And it makes it difficult to know what we want sometimes. We have different sides of us. We have an animal side, we have a human side, and we also have a Sigma side, and we have a side of us that is trying to fit in or is not understanding that we don't have to fit in. And with all those things competing against one another, it's easy to not know what you want. So you might be in the dating industry, the dating field, pickup, whatever you want to call it, but secretly you want a wife, you want a girlfriend. But then you read some red pill, MGTOW stuff, and it gets very complicated. And you never took the time to ask yourself what you want, because you're always constantly looking around and you're thinking, that looks cool, pickup looks cool. Or maybe you're thinking, relationship looks cool, having a wife looks cool, having a husband looks cool, whatever. But you never asked yourself fundamentally, what the hell do you want? And I think until you do that, you're always going to struggle in love, dating, relationships. And specifically, I think one of the best things you can do right now after this video, if you've never done something like this, is define exactly what you want and define who you want. Write that image of that person down. Write that in such detail and make it really real. And once you do that, you can start filtering out people. You can start filtering out the women that you don't want to be with or whatever. You get very clear about what you want. And it seems crazy, you know, you're creating this paragraph, multiple paragraphs about a partner. And you're like, how can I find this partner? You know, this is so specific, but it doesn't matter. It's about what you want. You have to know what you want. Number 5. Now, this is similar to the small town blues, but it's a little more complicated. The environment. You haven't put yourself in an environment where you can succeed, where you can win. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you need to go move to Manhattan or Budapest or something if you're a Sigma male and you want to be this this lone, introvert, mysterious, charismatic person. But it means that you have to find these environments where you can win, where you can find love. You can find these people that want to be your friend, these women that want to be your partner, all that kind of stuff. So it might be a place where you can practice a hobby at a high level. Maybe it's a great gym. Maybe you're really into working out and you want to be outstanding in that environment. You don't want to be a Sigma male that sequesters themselves off away in the shadows. You want your personality and your energy and your vibe to be from the shadow world, to be that otherworldly kind of person. But you don't physically just want to spend your whole time in your basement because I'm a Sigma male. I'm shadowy. I'm hiding. I'm in hiding right now. Forget the world. You need to go live in the world. And we talk about this a lot in these kind of videos. You still need to exist in the world until you find a way to pull yourself completely out of the matrix. There's still a world you need to live in. But luckily for your love life, your relationship life, there are worlds within this world in which women, attractive partners, are looking for you. They're looking for someone like you. So it might be that you're into whatever, but you need to go to that place where you can be outstanding in whatever. The next one is number 6. Now this is for relationships. This is specifically about troubles you might find in a more long-term relationship. And that is that complex men need powerful women who are capable of dealing with your issues. Now, as Sigma males, we're complicated. We're very complex. We are from another world. We have a unique set of thinking patterns, unique abilities, unique traits. Some of them are strengths, but one thing I always talk about in these videos is to be a Sigma male is to be a sword. And on each side of that sword, you have different edges of the blade. And on one side, you've got the edge that can kill. You've got the edge that can kill the enemy, the opponent, the world. Those are your strengths. But on the other end, you have the other edge, and that edge can come back and cut you. And if you really want to find fulfillment in a relationship, a long-term partner, you have to find a really awesome woman, a really powerful woman, a woman who's as powerful as you are. And I like to think of these celebrities you see who are power couples, and they have this partner who's just incredible, like a queen. And I think the key there is that you have to find your queen if you ever want fulfillment. She's got to be able to understand who you are. You have to be authentic enough to explain that to her, to show that to her. And you have to be vulnerable enough to just say, hey, I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to be introverted today. Or, hey, I'm going through mental health struggles today because I'm a sensitive person and things are spiraling out of control in the world. I just need 2 days where I do nothing but watch Netflix. Can we do that? There are times you might need these kind of things, and maybe on the flip side, you are this sort of king character, this like king Sigma spirit, and you just want to work. You just want to work for a month straight. You don't want to even have sex. You don't want to go on dates. You just want to hammer your masculinity as much as you can. And without the right partner, without the queen that you're looking for, you're going to have a hard time. So I think that's one of the keys is with your complexity, you need a powerful woman. Number 7, you haven't learned to play the game through your strengths. So I think this happens a lot with younger guys. You start thinking through the filter of collecting different data and knowledge and tactics and strategies, but every person is unique, and you have to learn on your journey of dating and meeting women, relationships, whatever. You have to learn what works for you and what's what's best for you. So if you follow the wrong kind of teacher, the wrong kind of coach, then you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, because there's only one you. And one thing I like to always think about now that I'm in my 30s and I'm slowly becoming my own guru is that eventually you have to kill your own guru, because no one can be the guru that you can be for yourself. And this applies to playing the game, the dating game, the sex game, whatever it is. You have to play it to your strengths. If you're not fun and if you're not funny, you're not super outwardly charismatic, you don't have to be. I know guys who do extremely well with the opposite sex who are so boring, but they have their own little strength. They know what to do. So play the game to your strength. Number 8, sort of on the flip side of that one, you let Sigma personality traits, quotes, become blind spots, and they don't allow you to grow. They don't allow you to succeed. So one of those things, I see a lot of this in the comments on other videos on another channel. We see a lot of things like, nobody likes to be around me. Am I a Sigma male? I'm sorry, but being a Sigma male is not a social disorder. It doesn't mean that you're unlikable. You might not have found your tribe. I'm compassionate about that. But if you're not likable, that's not a trait of being a Sigma male. People love to be around the loner who has good qualities, who has charismatic mystery, all those different things. Don't let those become blind spots. So many people do this nowadays. They have this complex about who they are, and that's just who they are. It's disgusting. It's horrible. I'm not judging them. It's disgusting for themselves. They should view that as a shame, because you're letting yourself build this identity, and that's always going to limit you. So something like, my family has alcoholism, so that's just who I am. I'm just prone to being an alcoholic. Yes, there's some scientific things about that, and I'm not judging alcoholism, and it's a horrible addiction, but don't turn things into identities that you can work on. So if you feel like there are parts of you that aren't succeeding and aren't giving you fulfillment with the opposite sex, relationships, dating, sex, you need to look at those and analyze where your blind spots are, because it might not just be because you're a Sigma male. Number 9, you have not embraced your shadows. And because of this, you're living in incongruence. You are living in incongruence. So one of the things I think a lot of men are going through right now, and irrelevant if you're Sigma male, alpha male, whatever, no labels. A lot of men are so out of touch with their shadow side. They're out of touch with their violent side, their aggression, their dark side, their complex side, the ugly side. But the ugly side is the side of you that's going to get stuff done. It's going to be able to swing the sword. It's going to be able to take care of the people around you if you need to, through violence or things like that. And I'm not condoning violence at all, but you have to accept that side, and you have to become congruent with that side. And if you don't, you're going to be a shell. You're going to be this weird shell of a person. It's going to feel like when people talk to you that you're wearing this mask. And if it doesn't feel like you're wearing a mask, it's going to feel like there's just like a part of you that's missing. You're going to feel like one of those robots. It's called Uncanny Valley, I think. Uncanny Valley paradox. So you have AI and these robot characters, and basically the closer these robot characters get to being a real looking person, the more it makes us feel uncomfortable as human beings. And I find that a lot of people go through this. Men go through this. The closer you get to becoming attractive, and the closer you get to embracing the shadow side, the more uncomfortable it starts to feel, it starts to go down, and then suddenly you have this breakthrough and you become this real integrated person. So back to that example, imagine something like the little character on WALL-E. So complete robot, but adorable, right? And then the closer you get to actually looking like a human, imagine like this Japanese robot. It's terrifying because it's so real, but it's not quite human. And I find that is the kind of vibe that you give off when you don't accept your shadow side. You're almost a man. You look like a man. You're physically like a man. You sound like a man, but you haven't quite accepted that shadow side, and it makes you not a man. Something's missing, and it's gross. It's gross for people. Number 10, you might have a sensitive side, as many introverts do, empaths. You might have that side of you as a Sigma spirit, as a Sigma male. You might not, and that's fine. But if you do, you might get wrapped up in drama, because it's very easy for one to let their sensitive side, it's very easy for them to let it become reactive. So you have to know the line between being sensitive and being reactive. And you have to do as much self-care as you can to prevent that. And without it, then you're going to get wrapped up in drama and relationships. You can't be strong for your feminine energy in your life, the woman, your queen, whatever it is. You need to stay steadfast in your masculinity and remember that you might be sensitive, you might have compassion, you might have empathy, but you can't have reactions the way that they might damage your relationships and your dating. And we've got number 11. This one is pretty much terrible for all aspects of relationships, love, dating, sex. As a Sigma male, you might have this analytical side, you might have this intelligence to you, but with all analytical sides, it's very easy for those sides to turn into overthinking. I am the worst overthinker. I have dealt with paranoia in my life. I've had crazy experiences. I've had experiences where just overthinking what people say, what women say in a text. I've even had crazy paranoia in the moment with women that I've been in pretty significant relationships with. And I think when you have this introverted world about you, you have this kind of fantasy world inside your mind, it's easy to fantasize about these negative things. And you have to build that presence and that positivity to prevent that analysis turning into overthinking, because it's so dangerous. Nobody likes an overthinker, but we're all doing it because we've all become so smart. We've all become so woke, so knowledgeable. But overthinking will kill a relationship from the start to the finish. Overthinking will kill your approach. If you go talk to a woman you want to talk to, all the way to the finished, you have a girlfriend, you're in a great loving relationship, you have a wife, overthink in your marriage, you're going to sabotage it. And the last one is my kryptonite. This has been the one that I want to be real honest with you about and say some things that I haven't really talked about with people before. Certainly not on a video going to thousands of other Sigma males. And that is my kryptonite. You become so independent, so rebellious, that you don't let yourself have the things you secretly and desperately want. And you do so because of principle. Some principle like, relationships are for weak people. I don't want a relationship. That's my principle, and I'm standing with that. Well, just because you're a Sigma male, just because you're a Sigma spirit, a man of strong Sigma qualities, doesn't mean you don't have to have the things that you don't want. You're allowed to have these things. You don't have to be alone because you're introverted. You don't have to be alone and not have the fulfilling sex life, love life, dating life, friendships, because you're deep and profound and not like the rest of the people. So this is something I've done all the time in my life. It also comes from this place of trying to be hyper masculine, where I can go without, I can be this person that I don't need that. I'm a machine. I'm a machine, or I'm an animal. I'm not even sure which one, but I can just push through. I don't need all those comforts. But why not? I think there's a time and place, and as a Sigma male, you're gonna push yourself. If you're here on this channel, you want to push yourself to the edges of what it means to be a Sigma spirit. But don't forget that you can have nice things. You can have the things that you secretly and desperately want. And you need to be good about recognizing when you want something and letting yourself have it, as long as it's win-win-win. Three-way win. Win for yourself, win for the person, win for the relationship, win for the world, whatever it is. I think it's important to just let yourself have these things. My experience, in these videos, filming these videos, right now we're going through a pandemic. We're just coming out of one. And I realized that I had taken such a long time from dating. Unnecessarily so, because I was trying to starve some part of me that needs love. And as a Sigma male, you might have some conflicting beliefs inside of you, or some incongruence, and you want to sabotage your own happiness, or you want to starve some part of you. And I'm telling you, that's one of the biggest things I face, and I think that could be one of the biggest things you might face as a Sigma male trying to find love, dating, sex, fulfillment in relationships, whatever. You might be preventing your own self from having the things you want. So I wish you can have everything you want as a Sigma male in your dating life, your love life. Thank you for watching. As always, I want you to tell me in the comments what your experience has been. Have you felt some of these things? Have you recognized these things in your life? Have you struggled in your love life? Have you found fulfillment in certain ways? I'd love to know. So leave a comment. Share your experience with us. Let's build a community. Until next time, there's going to be a part 2 of this, and we'll follow up there.